Welcome back to another episode of the Dark Rum Podcast, a show where we talk about creepy stuff and things and ghosts and monsters and everything that makes Ryan's beard fall out.
I was unaware that monsters made my beard fall out.
You know when you're scared and your beard just falls out?
Oh.
That doesn't happen to you?
No.
Oh. That's why Jared's beard is so patchy.
That makes sense. He is terrified of a lot of
I'm
monsters.
just terrified of everything.
Yeah.
Every now and then I just I flick a lighter just to see his hair fall out and then I laugh.
Wow. That's kind of messed up. You're a bad friend.
People say that about me.
Well, it's good to see you again.
Hi, how are you?
I'm awesome. How you doing?
It hasn't been 2 weeks because we didn't do 2 shows back to back last time.
We tell them we did 2 shows back to back.
Normally filmed things.
We were completely
just wore
forward
the same
about doing
clothes.
things back to back.
No, we've never done that.
Anyway,
everything is produced fresh. We
today
don't put the tuna and then put a different date on it and then put it back like I used to do at Subway.
Oh. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about 2 topics: Mothman
and other stuff.
What's other stuff?
The Denver International Airport.
Oh.
We're going to talk about aerodynamics and the physics of flying.
That sounds off topic for us, but let's start with Mothman and we'll see where that goes.
Oh, off topic. He can't even fly.
The Mothman?
You tell me how a 9-foot tall man bird bug thing flies with little fucking moth wings.
Well,
if you touch him and you get the powder off, does he not be able to fly anymore? Because people are screwing up on taking him down.
He's not actually a moth.
Okay.
So, the first sighting started in 1966, which were the first official recorded sightings were 5 men digging in a cemetery near Clendon, Virginia.
Dude, that does not sound like they made up a reason for why they were digging up a cemetery.
They definitely weren't.
They were there for reasonable reasons.
When they spotted it, it was a large, like 6-foot tall, 7-foot tall man thing with wings at night. So,
are you sure it's not Batman?
Well, considering Batman,
grave robbers, tall man, winged.
Are you saying Clendon, Virginia, is Gotham City?
Yes.
Well, that's an
that
interesting
Batman
thing.
Fights grave robbers.
I mean, it's possible. Well, maybe they're robbing the Wayne parents' grave.
Mothman is Batman.
There were also several other spottings for almost a solid year. There's spottings from all over that area. People constantly bring up the same thing. Some of which said that it had red glowing eyes. Some of which said it just had red eyes in general, not mentioning any glow. So on and so forth. Biologists actually did come forward and say, I'm going to cut to the chase. It's going to sound like I'm disproving Mothman, but I have a theory. So biologists...
we're going straight to the cut. We're going to the twist. This is an M. Night Shyamalan movie, but it's already over.
Yeah. Twist, but then back. We're going to back it. We're going to Tarantino it. We're going to start
Double
with
twist.
The end and then back it up.
Double twist.
So realistically, the thing that people saw this first year, that the original Mothman that started this
was the Mothman.
No, was a sandhill crane. They're 6-foot tall birds. They're enormous, and they have red circular patterns around their eyes.
I do not believe it. I'd much prefer to believe that there's a man moth flying creature.
Oh, also barn owls. A bunch of people said, like, there's accounts where someone was like, it was the Mothman, and their friend was like, I'm pretty sure that was a barn owl with a frog. Like that was...
A barn owl holding... That's just a barn owl, and it's just with his friend Frog.
I was probably eating the frog, Kyle. But anyway, a lot of these sightings are just really big birds, and people think or associate these sights at night with men.
Question.
Or men shapes.
Question.
Yeah.
If they're just birds, then how come every time someone sees one, something terrible happens?
See, now that's what I'm getting to. That's my theory.
Are these birds tearing bridges down?
Have you heard the myth of the albatross?
Yeah, Jared's one.
You're an albatross? I knew I didn't like you. You know the actual story of the albatross?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bird, and it was a necklace. It's a necklace bird. Necklace bird. Bird necklace.
The original thing was the albatross was the good luck of the ship, and then someone killed it and ate it or something.
No, they made it a necklace.
Yeah, made it a necklace. Whatever. They fucked the bird to death.
They fucked it.
And then
they fucked.
And then
whoa! Birds don't even have like regular vaginas. Where'd they put it?
The cloaca.
I forget why me and Jared were researching this the other day, but we were.
Anyway, so, and then the albatross became a bad sign omen of ships, okay?
Yes.
I think the Mothman and birds in general are evil.
So your theory is that birds are evil.
Yes, and
not
so
that there's clearly, definitely this mythical monster that's causing it, using its magic to wreak havoc on the world.
if birds are making bridges collapse and Russian apartment buildings explode, they're the problem, not the Mothman.
No, it is Mothman.
It is. No, it's people.
Fine, then Mothman's warning us that the birds are attacking.
Maybe Mothman was the solution.
Mothman is not the
What
bad
if
guy.
Mothman
He's the good guy.
was killed by the birds?
This is getting not right.
So
Mothman is a hero.
So to go into what we're going into for people that don't know.
In Fallout 76, there's Mothman.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. There is, but also, there's a ton of instances of disasters where people saw what they thought was the Mothman. I mentioned the Russian apartment buildings
And bridges collapsing.
and the Silver Bridge, which happened in 1967, which
The
is
year after they saw the Mothman the first time.
no.
No, you need to talk in your microphone.
Okay, so
There you go.
in 1967, the Silver Bridge collapse killed 46 people.
And the Mothman tried to let us know it was going to happen.
That is the disaster that actually also kind of brought an end to the Mothman sightings of that year-long stretch there.
But he's been sighted since then.
He has, but the sightings since then have been mostly smaller or incongruous.
Congress.
I'm not having a stroke.
The
They
Mothman is a congressman.
They haven't followed the same pattern as the previous sightings. I mean, like for the first year.
No, that's because the Mothman is warning us of something bigger now. It's not a bridge collapse. He's warning us of the collapse of the American democracy.
Well, I don't think you're wrong, but you're also definitely not right.
Isn't that a conspiracy theory?
So there's also a lot of people that think the Mothman is an extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
Probably friends with Bigfoot.
Just like the Bigfoot. Everything's extraterrestrial.
Yeah. So anyway, the primary sightings that occurred, where there were a lot. I mean, like that whole area had something like
13.
115 or something.
That's bigger number than 13.
Yeah, 115 sightings over the course of a year of people spotting what they thought was the Mothman. It became a legit phenomenon. There's a reason this town has a big Mothman festival and stuff, other than that they make a ton of money on the 10,000 tourists that come to it.
That's not true.
I mean, now it's because of the 10,000 tourists. But back then they did because they thought it was a thing. It really happened.
Yeah, because it did, because Mothman's real.
No, because it was a sandhill crane that people kept seeing, like swooping up and taking other animals and stuff, like dogs. And that's the other thing. Oh, so some of the stories
It's a
involve
crane that eats dogs? I thought cranes were like, they ate fish.
Probably, but if it's lost its migration pattern or if it's somehow mentally ill, it could just attack anything.
So the Mothman is a mentally ill crane?
That's kind of what biologists think. It was definitely out of migration pattern. These cranes this size aren't usually spotted over land like this. So the fact that it was there at all shows something is weird. And that's why no one recognized it, because they're not native to that area, even though it meets all of those requirements.
I'm not saying that this sounds completely preposterous, but I am saying that at this point, Mothman makes more sense than a mentally ill crane that doesn't ever come there, just showing up and being like, I'm gonna fuck up your bridge, bro.
Okay, so you're saying that a man with wings and glowing red eyes who has been around for 80 years or something like that.
Decades.
Has been around for decades.
Aren't there myths about him before this?
No.
Yeah.
And you're saying that man, this monster, makes more sense than the fact that people just didn't recognize a big fuck bird?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes more sense because the Mothman was created because there was like an explosion in like a plant and science happened.
Do you think the Mothman is like the Hulk? Did he get hit by gamma rays?
Isn't that the story? Isn't that he like came from some kind of like weird explosion?
Did you get this story from the Mothman Prophecies book made after the mythos started?
No, I've never read that book.
It's the same book they based the movies on, and it's
First of all, Richard Gere
it's gear.
Richard Gere is a sex symbol for the ages.
All right, and yeah, but
he would never make a movie that wasn't true.
What do you think acting is?
Biopics? Everything in a movie is real life.
You just broke my brain for a second.
So the Mothman Prophecies didn't even have a Mothman in it.
That's because they're bullshit. They came after the Mothman story. It's a fictional book.
Anyway, so the Mothman was created during like a massive explosion at some kind of chemical plant. Yes?
He is not Daredevil.
But isn't that the story?
No, no.
You did not research the Mothman enough, because I'm pretty sure that's the story, and that totally makes way more sense than some weird mentally giant bird being all like, I don't know where my home is.
Who would have reported the origin of the Mothman to anyone?
Neil Gaiman.
Don't you besmirch his name with your bullshit, all right? That man is a saint, and you're full of it.
He's not a saint. I'm pretty sure he practices black magic.
So?
That's not saintly of him, because he also helped create the Mothman.
He is the saint of black magic.
Anyway, so about the Mothman, he's definitely real, and he's not a giant stupid bird.
Okay, so maybe the Mothman's real. That's where I'm going with this. Here's the Tarantino.
You really want to just shut down everything, man? He's an alien, duh.
There's been a lot of sightings of
He's
the
a small
Mothman
gray with wings.
Since then. Like I said, the Russian apartment bombings, and
he's been seen in other countries,
yeah,
or other places besides
Russia
Virginia.
is another country than Virginia. Yes. Would you stop stroking your microphone stand? Yes, Russia is another country than Virginia. So yeah, I have confirmed what you just said repeatedly. And he's
also been seen in Maryland, where the presidents are. That's not what the president is.
Maryland is not another country.
It's another
It's
county
next to Virginia,
Another
where
county.
he was spotted originally.
Where is the president live?
D.C.
But like, what state is that in?
It's not in a state.
The next person that tells me it's not in a state, it is a part of a state. You can't just be like, this one town. What is it, Rome?
Yes.
No. Is it Maryland or Virginia?
The District of Columbia.
What is it attached to?
It is attached to Maryland.
There we go. I was right. It's a part of Maryland.
It is not a part of Maryland.
Okay, but it was a part of Maryland until they were all like, okay, we're going to make this the District of Columbia.
Yeah, like when they signed like the Constitution.
Therefore, making
not the Constitution.
They
did it, I think, during the amendments.
Maryland. Anyway.
It's not a part of Maryland.
So, yeah. So he went there, and that's why we have bad presidents now, because of Mothman. Well, he tried to warn us not to vote for any of them.
Well, that's not how the Mothman works. He's an ill omen. So where I was going with this, I swear I had more of this figured out, but Kyle has definitely messed up my head.
You were trying to say he's not real.
I'm trying to say the original story isn't real. That's the Tarantino.
Oh, so the first time they saw it, so he's a tulpa.
What's a tulpa?
A tulpa is when people believe in something so hard that it becomes real life.
That is
like
exactly
Slender
what
Man.
I was going with. Yeah.
Okay. You didn't know the name?
No, I didn't know the name.
That
was my theory, is that Mothman was a tulpa. Is a tulpa. Tulpa Capiano. I don't know. I'm just making
it's just tulpa.
It's just so.
I think it's a Jewish word. No, isn't it? Based on like golems or whatever. Himalayan? Jared says it's Himalayan. I thought it was like a part of like whatever. I thought it was like golems.
Oh, no. Anyway, so the point is that the first sightings were not real. It was a crane. It was dumb hicks in 1966 that didn't recognize a giant crane, probably because they were grave robbing.
Crane from Retarded Town.
I don't like that word.
Fine. A giant crane with mental health issues trying to figure out his shit, so he went to a new place to find himself.
Or, whatever. He was whatever.
Vacationing.
But since then, so many spottings and so many different interactions, and people believe in it so much. I mean, like I said, there's a festival where 10 to 12,000 people show up every year practically worshiping this Mothman.
I mean, he's got godlike properties.
Your
I'm going to touch everything. I'm going to touch you.
Oh, I got COVID now.
Now you do, yeah, because I was just in a place, definitely probably had it.
Oh, man, don't
There's
breathe
like
at me.
a lot of people there. It was uncomfortable.
So anyway, I think since then it's invoked this Mothman.
We've summoned him.
Yeah, we've basically
our
brought him
thought.
into reality. Mass consciousness makes this albatross of bad omens show up for other things.
Yeah, that's how topals work.
Well, you're welcome. I got it then. I nailed it. Thank you.
You nailed
I
nailed
yield
what a
the rest-
topal was without knowing what a topal was.
I yield the rest of my time on the floor. Thank you very much.
I thought this was a filibuster.
Is it?
Yeah,
I
keep
can
going.
filibuster. You want to go into?
Keep going.
No. So I want to hear.
Tell me why the Mothman is definitely real.
I want to hear about what you were talking about.
All right, so back to aliens, because the Mothman is also an alien. So now we're going to talk about the Denver International Airport,
Okay.
which is definitely not a place where aliens definitely live underneath in the tunnels and underground bunkers.
I'm sorry. What?
There's definitely not tunnels and underground bunkers underneath the Denver International Airport. Yes, there are. The Denver International Airport opened in 1995. It's the largest airport in North America and the second largest in the world, only behind King Fahd International Airport in Saudi Arabia.
Okay. So far, it's a really big airport.
It's a massive airport. It's 33,531 acres.
Yeah, that's a big airport.
And it's the 16th busiest airport in the world as of 2019 and the 5th busiest in the United States.
How's it compared to like O'Hare?
I don't know what that is because that wasn't in my information.
It's bigger than Chicago O'Hare?
Yeah.
Well, I know it's bigger.
It has 35,000 employees in it.
Wow. That's the population of like...
It's a small city.
Yeah, I was going to say where we grew up. That's
Yeah.
more people.
I'm pretty sure like part of it is there was like a new city built and they're like, let's build this airport.
Wow.
Plus the other airport that was there was kind of not good.
Yeah.
So because of its design, the cost of it, because it went about $2 million over budget,
Okay.
and the fact that it was about a year and a half late in its construction.
I mean, wait.
there's
to be
hundreds of
fair-
conspiracies around this airport.
To be fair, $2 million is not that much over budget for something that large. I mean, our high school went like $1.4 million over budget on a football stadium. So,
But where did the money come from? That's a part of the conspiracies here. Nobody knows where they actually got all their money.
You're saying like
It's
Denver,
not all
Colorado just
government.
made all the money up? Like they just...
Nobody knows who was the funders. Not all money that's donated to stuff like this comes directly from the government. There's also people that donate money into it and stop telling me to stop touching things I'm going to touch. I paid for it.
So
I pay for the time. I'm going to touch it.
So they don't know where the money actually came from.
Yeah,
for this airport.
there's some silent backers.
Okay.
They don't know who it is.
It's
And
probably people that...
as we get further in, you'll understand why people are worried about that.
Okay. All right.
There's a lot. If there's a conspiracy theory, it is in the Denver International Airport has it.
Okay.
There's everything here.
Well, I mean, it's a city of people coming and going.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's like a lot of people.
Just wait.
It's busy. So, it has hundreds of conspiracies ranging from cursed statues to underground tunnels to where people are trafficked, experimented on by aliens, lizard people. It's also rumored to be an international meeting place for the Illuminati and the New World Order.
So everything is...
Everything is here.
Yeah.
Um,
Cursed statues?
there's
What are the curses on the statues? Are they people?
You mean Lucifer?
Who's
We'll get to that.
Lucifer? Okay.
So, we're going to start with the runway itself.
Okay.
So, the shape of the runway before DIA was Stapleton International Airport.
Mhm.
And there was problems with how they made their runways. They were too close together in bad weather. If this is one of the busiest airports in in America, that also was,
Yeah.
but it was grossly delayed because the way that how close together the runways were in bad weather, it was almost impossible for more than one plane to land at a time.
So they had to like destroy it all and start from scratch?
Yeah, they had lots of issues with that one.
Okay.
So in 1995, they started construction on the DAI. That's the way to say it. And that was the solution to that problem.
Okay.
So it's home to the longest public use runway in the United States. It's 16,000 feet long, just this one runway.
That's like, so What was that, like 3 miles long?
I have no idea. It's long.
Yeah, something like that, a little more than 3 miles.
But the suspicious thing about the runways is the shape. Many have noticed that from above, it looks suspiciously like a swastika.
All right.
So there's more.
Okay, so now it's also a Nazi airport?
Maybe. Who knows?
Or is it that the swastika
And
is just
this is another part that calls attention to the fact of how grossly over budget it was and who helped fund the airport for designs like this. And that's not the only cryptic symbolism in the airport.
Okay. So they think it's a Nazi-funded airport in America.
More than that. NWA, man. NWO. New World
that's right,
Order.
New World Order, yeah.
Illuminati. Everybody.
Yeah.
And the airport is covered in occult symbols.
Okay.
Native American, Freemason, and even things from the periodic table of elements.
Okay.
People have theorized that the airport is actually a hub for creating new strains of weaponized viruses, including a new strain of hepatitis. So there's even that kind of conspiracy there.
Okay.
It's a conspiracy that, they create diseases at this airport, which International Airport,
is a great
one
way
of
to
the
spread
busiest
them.
ones,
Yeah.
you can get it around. So maybe that's where COVID
You
came
infect
from.
the right pilot, and that's going all over the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the major things that actually put the construction so over budget was the state-of-the-art bagging system that they made. It's an automated bagging system. It's part of the tunnels. But what's funny is it never worked. It's never worked in the entire time. Its first test was a failure. It's never worked. And that furthers the myth about the bunkers, or the underground tunnels. Like, why are they there if this thing actually never worked?
Yeah.
What's the point of these?
Yeah.
So a lot of people believe that the tunnel or that the bagging system was actually just a ruse to create the tunnels.
So they did like a false flag operation. Like,
Yeah.
Here it's for bagging.
They
and
needed
then
an excuse to have
dig all these
these
tunnels.
massive tunnels that go all the way under the 33,000 acres
Yeah.
of tunnels.
I'm kind of getting on board for this. All right.
And then there's the theory that there's just a bunch of underground bunkers there too. Whether they're there to host like the government in case of state of emergencies, or they're the headquarters for the NWO and the Illuminati. Either way, people get nervous about both those things because the government having a high-powered, bunker for security for like them and the rich people and powerful people in the government
has
underneath.
those, and they've admitted them.
Yeah, but a
Like
lot of them are
Mount
secret, and nobody
Cheyenne.
really knows. That one I don't think they even use anymore because people know about it because that's a target now.
No, that's where the Stargate is.
Aliens.
They made the show to disprove the actual existence of the Stargate. Didn't you watch the show?
No,
Oh man,
not
it's
a
real.
dork.
You're a dork. Just keep talking about your. You talk. I'm done.
What did I just say?
So, bunkers.
But nobody knows where the tunnels go. Where do they go? There's theories that they even go to NORAD. Like they're just massive tunnels.
They made tunnels that go all the way to NORAD.
Yes. And what's funny is I did a lot of different research and some of them where I was watching videos from like BuzzFeed and like other stuff, and they don't. People were just riding around in the tunnels with like their spokesperson. Because I mean, at this point the airport's leaned into it. They put like a talking gargoyle in recently that greets visitors and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they lean into the theories. There's like pictures of cats with like aluminum foil hats in there and stuff
so
now.
Now I'm 100% certain something's going on because
Because the airport is
they're
going with it.
doubling down to try to distract people from the reality.
Literally, like their liaison there was like, "Hey, like I'm saying, like I've never seen anything, but don't stop believing."
Yeah.
As like the people were leaving and stuff. So yeah. And what's even so about the underground bunkers? There's a little weight to why people think those are there because there was, and when it was built, a whistleblower who came out and said that they built 5 buildings. That somehow were misconstructed, and instead of blowing them up and destroying them and tearing them down, they just buried them.
Yeah, that's suspicious.
All right?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, why would you? If they're misconstructed, you don't want to bury them because they could be voids,
Yeah.
like cause collapse in the.
So were they misconstructed, or are they built there to
purpose-built
house
bunkers
the
and
New
that
World Order?
Yeah, well, or the Illuminati,
Or the Illuminati? Some
or-
secret
or
organization
Hitler.
meant to control the world?
yeah.
Well, Hitler is even farther in some of the artwork that's there.
Is he really?
No, he's not in it, but the imagery of it is very Nazi-esque.
Because he's in Brazil or died recently in Brazil.
Yeah. That's actually probably true because
No, that's like a real.
how many
thing that
Nazis
people-
did we save
Yeah, there's a whole city.
And there's some weird thing where Brazil was like super pro-Nazi.
Well, Brazil was super pro-Nazi, and they had no extradition treaty with any of the allies.
That's why Israel would just show up and assassinate people.
Yeah, so a lot. I mean, there's a whole city there of German architecture and like ex-Nazis that like fled to Brazil, and people are saying that like they've spotted Hitler there for so long. But I mean,
I think it's funny that we're like, oh, terrible Brazil, because we didn't like take hundreds of their scientists and be like, yo, help us make a bomb to blow up Japan.
Oh yeah, we're just as bad in some ways.
I mean, what's his face helped us get it to the moon? I forget his name now. Nobody puts his name on it because they kind of kept it secret.
Oh yeah, there was he did a lot of the
rocket science.
Yeah, literal rocket science.
And then they took the experiments the Japanese and the Germans did on people that were not okay to do, and then we were just like
not okay in quotes. I'm pretty
because
sure
of the fact the Americans then used the information gathered from it, like, oh, we didn't do it, but yes, we do know what it's like to freeze a pregnant woman and see how long it takes
this out there, but it's still not okay if we use it. I
put the quotes in the wrong place. I think.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. All right.
It's not okay. It's also not okay that we use the information.
Yeah.
But anyway, to get to the part that you've been waiting for, Lucifer.
Yeah.
The cursed statue that sits outside of the airport and greets everyone that comes in. It's a massive statue named the Blue Mustang.
Okay.
It's a giant, huge blue horse with glowing red eyes. It's been nicknamed Lucifer by the locals and everyone that sees it.
Okay.
And it's cursed.
Why?
Aside from its giant glowing red eyes.
Did it also blow up in a factory explosion?
Massive oppressive presence.
Uh-huh.
It killed the artist that created it.
How?
A chunk of its head fell off and severed an artery in his leg.
Oh, so like
the statue was then finished by his family.
So this statue like took a blood sacrifice to fuel its curse.
Yeah. This statue killed the artist that created it and put it outside of Denver Airport.
Well, you know what they say. No magic like blood magic.
I mean, I do ask for blood sacrifices all the time for us.
But so, okay, so this thing killed the artist. It was finished by the family and was still put out in the airport.
Yeah. It's got red LED eyes that light up at night.
Well, that makes it a lot less ominous that they're LEDs.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that they built it that way.
Nothing says cursed
It's rumored
statue
to be
like,
designed after the fourth horseman of the apocalypse.
Nothing says cursed statue like energy efficient bulbs.
You suck.
I'm just saying.
Stop ruining the spookiness.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, it's built off of the horsemen of the apocalypse. Which one was this?
Death.
Are you sure? Because it's blue, so wouldn't it be the horsemen of blue balls?
I don't know. Why are you being like this? Dude, it's because of the New World Order and their plan to take over. There's also rumors that in the underground bunkers there's FEMA concentration camps. And as we know, those are being used right now.
Anyway.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I didn't say you were wrong.
Obama made them, and now we're using them.
And Trump doubled down on it with ICE.
Yeah. I mean, everybody that sits and's like, oh, Obama was a great president. He's just as bad. I mean, he is the reason that we're able to attack American citizens right now because of the Jade Helm Project, which was a military exercise in which the military... You don't remember this? It was a whole thing. People were panicking over it because in like major cities out west, they were having military exercises in America in order to practice how they would control American citizens during a national disaster.
I'm pretty sure this is the thing that happened.
And now we're using
this also goes back to like Bush with the Military Mobilization Act and the Patriot Act.
Well, the Patriot Act has been around since Clinton too.
Yeah, but
like a lesser version of it.
The updated. Well, the big one that scared me was the Military Mobilization Act because it gave the president 3 major powers. Gave him the ability to say who is and who's not a terrorist. Gave him the ability to mobilize armed forces to stop terrorists. And gave him the ability to hold terrorists without habeas corpus.
Yeah.
So no.
That's one of the things that scared me the most because you can literally just be like these people out rioting and protesting and everything right now. Anybody out there right now that's like making the government mad at them is that
they're terrorists and that's it.
That's why they're labeling like BLM terrorist organizations because then it's easier for them to just pick you up off the street.
Keep trying to categorize it as an organization even though nothing is really organized.
Yeah.
Unlike the NRA and all kinds of others.
So back to the art.
Yeah, let's go to this cursed horse.
Back to the art. That's the horse. The horse killed his artist. He was built. He's 57,000 feet
Hitler
tall.
Painted something in there?
Hitler didn't paint anything.
Okay, I missed it.
So the art, the the Denver International Airport
Mhm.
was at its time, a lot of the budget was actually for art.
Mhm.
They really encouraged art. They bought a bunch of art. They had a bunch of artists come in and create art,
Mhm.
and a lot of it's super weird.
Okay, cool.
So
I like weird art.
some of the ones that are more popular, and I actually feel bad for doing this because I watched a documentary where the artist said it kind of ruined his career because he used to work with schools and schools won't let him in anymore.
Yeah.
He's like a really famous Denver mural painter,
Mhm.
and he painted 2 murals there. They take up huge walls near the bagging area,
Mhm.
and their names are The Children of the World Dream of Peace and In Peace and Harmony with Nature. Sounds nice.
Yeah, sounds.
Until you kind of
okay.
look at what they depict.
Okay.
So I'm actually going to look up. I'm going to bring up an image for you to be able to see it.
Okay. And so these murals about children, were they funded by Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
Oh, just checking.
Well, I don't know. Funded
Yeah,
it.
you don't know.
But
huh?
it
Yeah, you don't know, do
every
you?
piece of art that went in there had to be approved by the government there. Like they had to be approved by government officials before it was allowed to be there.
Yeah.
So why did it take the art part away when I hit enter? So there's a picture of what looks like a Nazi soldier in a gas mask, brandishing guns at children. There's even a note from a little girl who died in the Holocaust on the wall.
That's disconcerting.
Yeah, I told you Nazis come back.
Yeah.
And there's one of them depicts dead animals in glass. There's gas mask wearing soldiers brandishing guns at children, and a world ravished and destroyed.
Okay. Yeah, so not exactly friendly iconography.
Yeah, in one of the pictures, there's three women, children, girls, 3 girls, of different ethnicities, laying in glass coffins. Now, to his credit, and this I just took this quote from him directly. The name of the artist is Leo Tangumas.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "I have children sleeping amid the debris of war, and this warmongering is killing the dove of peace. But the kids are dreaming of something better in the future, and their little dream goes behind the general and continues behind the group of people, and the kids are dreaming that peace will happen someday. See how the little dream becomes something really beautiful that someday the nations of the world will abandon and come together." So that's the idea he has behind his paintings, and a lot of his paintings have like dark imagery, and they're kind of they're kind of made to invoke a feeling.
Yeah.
But here's the one with the Nazi.
Well, yeah, that is that's pretty Nazi.
I guess we're gonna
With
throw up
with
some
like
image.
a falchion or scimitar.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the one with the dead chill. Oh, this is the one. So you can see there's
Yeah.
one there, one there, one there,
Yeah.
and then there's dead animals there. And
Yeah.
they're dark and beautiful, which is kind of art I like. But yeah,
They're really good.
it's something that brings some weird imagery into people's minds
Yeah.
when they're there, and then they see stuff like that. Now, did I not put those notes in there? Because I guess I'm just gonna have to remember them now.
Oh no.
Another thing that the airport hosts is it has its dedication stone.
Okay.
On its dedication stone, there is Freemason imagery,
Okay.
along with.
Well, that's not that surprising. The Freemasons have imagery all over the country.
It also mentions the New World Order.
Well, that's a little more surprising.
Yes, and inside of it, there is a time capsule. Oh, that's why I apparently just skipped that bulletin. It's home to a time capsule that's set to be open in 2094. The marker on the capsule is covered in Masonic symbols and mentions the New World Order. What is kind of crazy is nobody knows what's inside.
Like no one, they just put it in there.
No,
They
there's
didn't-
like rumors there's like a credit card or like, well, it's a time capsule. Nobody's supposed to know until you open it. There's supposed to be like a newspaper from the time.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a place that's rumored to also house like biological weapons and aliens and
I'm pretty sure
lizard
any
people doing
biological weapon
experiments.
that's put in that time capsule is not going to be valid by 2094.
That's not necessarily true. Some of them hibernate.
For more than a decade or a century.
1995. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, a century
I forgot how long.
in
100 years is.
non-climate controlled, sterile,
What are you
contained.
talking about? It's an airport. It's definitely climate controlled.
It's in a time capsule in a plaque, right?
We don't know what.
If it's in stone, the time capsule.
You are ruining all the fun today with your complete and like. Why are you being so what's the word? Cantiferous. That's not the word.
Cantankerous?
That's not the word I was looking for anyway. I just wanted to say it.
Okay. Contrary?
Yes. You're being so difficult. We are a show about conspiracies and monsters, and you're here trying to debunk everything.
I just think
the
some
Denver
of them
International
are funny.
Airport is definitely a hub for the New
Let me-
World Order and the Lizard Men.
All right, let me start with I'm on board that something's weird about this airport. I'm not saying I don't believe anything you're saying. I'm saying look at it with a critical eye. Some people like to just run away with things. A statue that has glowing eyes because they're LEDs isn't cursed.
What? There's actually a really nice story behind that. The artist's father runs like a popular, the only or some kind of LED light store in Denver, and they were put there because it was like a tribute to his dad.
So how is that cursed? It hasn't done anything else, right?
Killed him.
Yeah, accidents suck. If the statue randomly disappeared, or people that touched the eye around,
I don't think you can. It's really tall.
Well, maybe you should climb it and touch the eye and find out.
I'm gonna touch the shit out of the eye. God, you know what? This is it. That's it. You're gonna be so difficult. We're gonna do an episode about the devil tree, and we're gonna go there, and you're gonna touch it.
I did touch the devil tree.
You are a bad person.
It's not far from us.
You died.
I didn't die. I touched it. I was fine.
You died on the inside.
The devil tree sucks.
Anyway, here's a picture of Lucifer.
That's actually a really cool statue.
It is really cool.
Why do people think it's cursed? It's freaking awesome.
Know. It's what was the thing that the lady said? It's just supposed to be like welcoming people to the West because, wild Mustangs.
Okay, so I get that.
Wild and free Mustangs.
The red glowing-eyed horse statue doesn't. Now I'm looking at it.
Now you see how it looks a little evil?
It doesn't quite send the message you'd want to send welcoming people.
Look at this one.
If
Someone got a good
anything,
picture.
That's a sweet picture. If anything, I feel the statue sends the right message from America, though, of don't fuck around. Like, that's what that statue says to me. Welcome to America. Red glowy eyes.
No, I mean, I don't believe everything, but it's just really funny how many crazy stories can come up just because you spend too much money on something and take too long to build it.
I mean, this place has so
and
many
size.
Yeah, so many stories and size to it that there's got to be something, right? It can't be.
It's definitely a human trafficking hub.
I mean, certainly.
Almost every airport is.
Every major port and airport are human trafficking nowadays.
If our area is just because we have a little tiny airport, then that one's got to be massive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Anyway, so that's all I have about that.
All right.
I hope you feel informed, or apparently have a good argument against that now that Ryan's created a bunch.
If you die making a statue, that doesn't curse the statue.
No, it means the statue is cursed from the begin with.
But it needs to do something to prove it's cursed then.
Look at The Exorcist.
What about it?
It killed people. People died in the making of it. Got hurt.
Okay, but did anyone die since then?
Look at The Omen. Someone died in an elevator while filming that movie.
Okay, but has anyone died since then?
Have you ever seen the Twilight Zone movie?
No.
Oh, well, a man and 2 children got killed by a helicopter in that movie.
You know what's a cursed movie? The Ring. In the movie, The Ring, the movie.
The Ring, the actual VHS tape from The Ring.
You watch it, it curses you. You die. There's the whole thing.
Denver International Airport has had more airplane accidents than any other airport. I'm making all of this up. Please don't sue me.
Also, it wouldn't matter if it did because it's the largest airport in the country. So statistically, it would have the most.
It's the second largest in the world.
Yeah. So, I mean, by sheer statistics, it would have to have more than... I mean, if it followed the same trend as everything else, it'd have to have more than the other ones.
I can't wait to talk about aliens with you because you're I kind of believe in aliens, but I want to hear you break down why there's no aliens soon. You've been really good at just debunking everything we talk about.
I don't kind of believe in aliens. Statistically, there have to be aliens.
But on Earth?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
What about the lizard people?
Have you heard about the Fermi paradox?
What about lizard people?
Have you heard about the Fermi paradox?
I don't know what that means.
I could tell you exactly why.
We'll talk about this next week.
We haven't encountered aliens. So, if you have any stories related to the Mothman or the
Denver International Airport,
yeah, please comment. Let us know. DM any of our
Send us
socials.
pictures of you touching Lucifer.
I really thought you were going to say something way dirtier, and I kind of panicked.
Not on this show, on the other show.
Oh,
Yeah. Dude, the things we talked about in the episode that's coming out on that one. You guys should watch the new the Rum Runnas podcast, because I died while we were editing.
Really? Why?
Just couldn't breathe. He's like, do your research. And I'm like, I can't.
All right, well, thank you for listening. I hope you have an amazing day.
Beware of Moby. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Instagram, you can find us at Dark Rum Podcast. He does that one.
Dark Rum Podcast
on Twitter, you
Instagram.
can find me. I do that one at Dark Rum Podcast. All of the things are at Dark Rum Podcast. And if you have any spooky stories, ghost stories, true crime incidents where people try to touch you in an alleyway, let us know at darkrumstories@gmail.com.
And especially anything with cryptids or aliens, I'd love to hear about them.
Yeah, anything. If you've ever simped for Slender Man and went out to try and become one of his proxies, let us know your story from jail. Those 2 little girls that did that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's a real thing.
That is a real thing that happened.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, if you read stories too deeply, if you think Stephen King really has a house in Salem where there's vampires, tell us that in our email that I just said.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.
Stay fucking weird and touch yourself.
No.